Good morning, everyone. Sorry about the slight delay. I'm Sarah Lascano. Welcome to our Q&A. Let's get unstuck this morning. We're going to start talking about what keeps us stuck. So when we want to change, why can't we find the right steps and the right people, the right resources, the right things to help us find solutions? So I believe that we get stuck when we have energetic blocks that are keeping us from either feeling worthy of a solution or believing that a solution exists or believing that life could be easier, life could be better, that our body could be stronger, that our relationships could cooperate with us. If we don't believe that we are worthy and that these things are possibilities, then we're not going to be able to manifest solutions that will actually move us forward. So this means that we need to do our work. We need to go really deep within ourselves and ask, do I feel worthy of life being easy? Do I feel that this is a possibility for me? If I strive and strive and strive and still stay stuck, there's definitely a block. So if we can just step back, tune into ourselves, either through meditation or prayer or energy healing or whatever mechanism it is that works for you, if we can just ask, what is the block and where is it? Like, can I identify what it might be? Then we can start, once we get that block out of the way and we feel worthy of those things, then solutions can start to appear, whether it's a supplement, whether it's a practitioner, whether it's an energy healer, whatever it might be. So the first step is to really step back and ask, do I feel that change is possible? Do I feel worthy of life being easier, better, better for me? And this applies to people in our lives too. So this applies to relationships, this applies to family, this applies to pets, all of it is the same ball of wax. Do I feel worthy of this being better? And until I do, I will keep hitting roadblocks. So if I find a supplement that helps, I'll step forward and then all of a sudden I'll get sabotaged again. Something else will happen, or I'll get sick with something new. I'll step forward, same thing will pull me back again. And this cycle will continue until we get these blocks out so that we can feel worthy of having something better, something easier. So I want you just to kind of take a moment to tune in to yourself and just get quiet. When I say that, I mean, close your eyes, get settled in your seat, come into the body, bring your awareness down into the body, out of your head. So stop thinking and get feeling in the body. Feel your feet on the floor and feel your seat in the wherever you're sitting, and feel your breath coming in and out, just really tuning in. And then clearing your mind and letting your body show you, or your mind, letting your subconscious mind, however it comes up for you, let your body kind of tell you, where do you need to look? Where do you need to go for answers? And that information can come in if we can just get our conscious mind a little quieter. And that does require that our nervous system be a little bit calmer. So in order to hear our intuition, we need to ratchet down that nervous system. So relaxation exercises, Heal Me Now sessions, my minis, anything you can get your hands on to try to get your conscious awareness into your body and try to hear some clarity. Now, you may not hear anything. You may feel something. Maybe you feel a lot of pressure in your heart when you tune into yourself in this way. That's good information. Maybe you feel nothing, but later in the day you have a conversation or do a Google search, or something shows up, some sign, some information comes to your awareness later in the day. That's also good information. So that's all your intuition bringing information to your awareness. So we want to leverage all of this information. So that is my first recommendation, is when we feel stuck and we don't know what to do, we want to just step back, tune into the body, clear the mind, and ask, what can I do? What needs to come to my awareness to be able to shift my reality? All right. So I invite you to do that later, once we're off the call, tuning in, seeing what comes up. If you can't find solutions or information doesn't come, feel free to post in the group. I'd be happy to try to help you work through whatever blocks are coming up and keeping you from trying to find the information that you need to move forward. All right, so what happens if you're already aware of all of this and you still keep feeling blocked? So we're going to have blocks. Like, life isn't supposed to be a cakewalk, I don't believe. It can be easy, truly, but we have energy that needs to be experienced, and we have things that need to get, frustration and grief and sadness are normal human emotions that we are going to cycle through. It's really how we cope with them and how we work through them that governs how easy our life is going to be. So we want to be aware that success is not everything always being easy. That's not the gauge of success. It is easy, even if we get triggered or angry or frustrated, we should feel it as an energy moving through us, not us ourselves. Once we decrease some of this baggage that we're carrying, these experiences that are difficult and stressful, they just come through almost like the wind or a wave of the ocean. It comes through. We know it's not us. We know it's not going to stay. We know it's transient. And we're allowing this energy to move through us. We feel it, we recognize it, we acknowledge it, and then we let it go. And so that whole process can become quite easy. So even when we get angry or irritated, it's not a big deal. It's just an emotion. So that's really where we want to get. That's the destination. And that's when our body can use the emotional energy to create movement, to create health, to have us be moving forward in a healthy, balanced way. If we're acknowledging those energies as they come up and leveraging them to create the change in our lives that we need, we're going to be in balance and healthy. And that's what we want. That's like the ticket, I think. So just know that it's normal to get frustrated. It's normal to be sad, to experience grief, to feel lost, to get frustrated with friends, whatever it is, certainly with our children. That's 100% normal. We just need to learn to work with it as it is just like it's almost like third person. It's like you see it happening and it's not you. It's just something coming through. So in order to get there, we need to do our work. We need to clear out energies as we get triggered, as things make us really frustrated, sad, full of grief or anger. We need to see it for what it is. Ask yourself, when have I felt like this in my past? And allow that memory to come up and experience the emotion, and then give it permission to heal. These are some of the ways we can work with energies as they come up to help them leave and unburden our system. Now, obviously, if things get stuck, that's when you need to reach out for assistance. That's when I reach out for assistance. So if you are trying to work with emotion and it just doesn't seem to be moving, that's the time to ask for help from one of your trusted professionals, whether it's acupuncture or lymphatic drainage or massage or energy healing. Whatever it is, when it gets stuck, that's the time. But there's lots we can do by ourselves, on our own through our daily life. And if we make this a practice, we will start clearing out our backlog, and we won't accumulate more because we're going to be processing it in the moment. And that's the idea. That's when we have achieved that, we have reached balance because we're experiencing life as it comes, we're working through it, we're using all that emotional energy as food for the organs, kind of the way I like to think about it. Emotions are food of our organs in our body. And we use that energy to help the liver create change, to fuel the digestion, to keep the nervous system dispersing information, to keep breath moving in and out of the body. So the emotional energy can help the body function properly if we allow it to be here and work with it in balance. All right, so let's back up now, and as we learn how to do these balance, this work with emotion in our day-to-day life, we achieve that balance. But there are going to be backlogs, this anger that you had in your childhood that it wasn't okay to express, for instance. So if we have that anger that we were not able to express at the time, maybe we didn't have the skills, maybe we had parents that shamed us or punished us if we expressed our emotion. Maybe we had a bully that was just too much to handle. We couldn't cope with it all. It was too disturbing. So we pushed it down. These are situations where we have old energy within us that needs to move. And until it moves, we will not be in a state of balance. We will either be unhealthy with inflammation or joint pain or digestive problems or depression or anxiety, whatever it is for you. It varies by person how things manifest. We've got to get that energy out of the body. And that means we've got to work with things as they come up, even when they're big and uncomfortable. And again, if it gets stuck, you need to reach out for help, whether it's a friend who can listen or a practitioner, whatever works for you. All right. So we've talked about the physical connection of the energy and it getting stuck in the body, and really just tuning in and asking your body, your system, what can I do to move forward? Let's talk for a second about relationships, because relationships can be really sticky. Relationships in our families, relationships at work, either with coworkers or bosses. These relationships we can feel really out of control with sometimes. We get stuck in negative cycles. So in my view of the world, when we are having trouble in a relationship, we always want to step back a little bit, try to get a tiny bit of clarity, step back and ask, what is it that I need to do? What is it that I need to heal in order for this to shift? And that can feel really hard sometimes if we don't feel that we're doing anything wrong, we feel defensive, we feel that we're the victim. It can be very difficult and hard to take that step back. But we have to remember that there's a lesson in all of our life's experiences. There's a reason that we're going through it. So if we can identify that reason and heal the root cause that's behind that reason, then things can shift. So let's take an example of a bully at work. Let's say that there's a coworker, it's not a boss, but it's a coworker, and they're on your team, and they're constantly a problem. They're constantly putting up roadblocks, trying to make you look bad, trying to control you, and there's just no way out. The person isn't leaving, you have to work together. Very difficult situation. So if we can step back and say, why is this person in my life? That's really the bottom line. Why is this person in my life? So with one of my clients, the reason this person was in their life was because they had trauma of being controlled by their family, their parents, and not being allowed to be her authentic self. So it was as simple as that. And many of us have those stories, right? That it's not safe to be authentically us. So if we can take a step back and see the patterns within us that are setting the stage for us to be in this setting, we can completely shift it. And so when we worked on that for my client, and it wasn't just a simple little thing, it was a little network of beliefs. Within a week, the person was gone from the workplace. I can't remember if she got laid off or reassigned, but she was completely gone from my client's life. And this is the type of thing that we can manifest once we do our work, once we heal the reason that the difficulty is in our life. So we can apply this to sibling relationships. We can apply this to, obviously, coworker was the example that we just used. We can apply this to a spouse or a partner. We can apply this to a child relationship that is being difficult. So my child won't talk to me and shuts me out and is just angry. Why? Why is this in my life? Am I trying too hard? Am I trying to control them? Am I not acknowledging their experience? Am I judging, how they're feeling and trying to fix it rather than just acknowledging it and allowing them to find their way out? These are all pieces that it could be. These are some options that just come to mind. But try, if you have a difficult relationship in your life right now, or a situation where you just feel like you're fighting it, like you're at odds, you're resisting, you're not getting that ease that you're looking for, take a step back and ask, what do I need to know? What do I need to realize in order for this to change? I think often it is a control issue that we don't realize we're trying to control. Perhaps we were out of control a lot in our childhood and we're trying to strive for control to make it better, or make it better in what we think is better. But that's not our place. We're not supposed to fix other people. We're supposed to fix ourselves. So control is definitely something that is a big piece of my life. It's a big piece of my clients' lives. We are trying to control things when we don't even realize we are, or we're resisting it. We're fighting it. So let's take one of you out here who sent me questions. You want something to be different. You want your intuition to be more fluid and more clear, and you're testing to get better results. But you're angry at yourself and frustrated at yourself because it's not that way. So where's the issue here? The issue here is that you're fighting what is. So we resist what is when we are angry about how it is. So that motivates us for movement. Remember, anger helps us create movement in our lives. But if we can step back and say, can I just accept how it is? Can I just say, okay, I accept that I'm struggling with this, and I love myself for it anyway. I'm taking steps. I'm learning new things. I'm willing to try. I'm focused on myself. Those are all huge wins. Acknowledge the wins, and then acknowledge the frustration. And then ask yourself, as we talked about before, what do I need to know? Do I not believe in myself? Do I not think I'm worthy of this? Am I afraid to step forward and to change? Maybe embracing this intuition is going to have me step forward and create something new in my life, and I'm afraid of that. Maybe I'm afraid to hear my intuition. Maybe I don't want to listen to my intuition. Maybe my personality wants to be in charge and it doesn't want to give up the control. It doesn't want to let intuition drive the train. Like, that's something I could see myself thinking. So we want to acknowledge these different patterns that might be within us. And we could apply this to anything, really, not just intuition. We could apply it to health. We could apply it to relationship. So just sit with some of those themes of maybe being afraid of change, maybe being afraid of new responsibility, having to surrender what we want instead of what we know we shouldn't have, that we shouldn't do or have. This is a wonderful thing with food, right? So intuitive eating is something I feel strongly about, and I think it's important. what I find myself doing, I can easily hear what my body wants to eat and what it doesn't want to eat. But sometimes I don't want to hear my intuition. I just want to eat what I want to eat. So this is a time where we're saying, I really don't want to hear my intuition. We do that, okay? So we just have to acknowledge that we're doing it. We see it, we acknowledge it, but we have to pay the consequences later when we don't feel well because we ate something we shouldn't eat, or we don't sleep well, or we have an itchy rash, or whatever it is. So the same is true for these deeper, more complex situations in our lives. What will change if I embrace this part of myself? And can I be okay with that? Can I hand over the fear of that change? So this is a flip on my Step into Health session, right? Step into Health is all about acknowledging that there are parts of us that are comfortable with our dysfunction. They're comfortable being sick or low energy or not getting along with our spouse or whatever it is. That can be comfortable at some level. So that session really tries to help that fear, excuse me, excuse me, that session really tries to help that fear move of shifting into a new state of being. Because it's scary. It's scary to change where you've been your entire life and consider moving into something new, even when we want it. And this is hard to believe, but it's totally true. Even when we deeply, deeply want the thing that the change is bringing, it can be very scary to embrace. So if that is you, especially with health, consider my Step into Health on-demand session, Heal Me Now session. If that is you with a life situation, with embracing intuition to move forward into maybe a new career or a new skill or a new ability to help yourself answer questions and step into self-empowerment, that session might help you, but really consider that that's what might be blocking you and acknowledge it. Say, okay, well, what if that is it? Could I give myself permission to embrace this change, knowing that I will be guided, I'll be protected, and I will be led in the right direction? All right, so I'm absolutely happy to start conversation on any of these themes in our group, so feel free. If you have questions about how this might relate to your life or how to move through some of these blocks once you uncover them, feel free to pop in and ask questions. I'm so happy to answer them and help guide you and hopefully get you to some resolution. So I hope this session has been helpful. We've covered a lot of little bits. We haven't covered a lot of skills on how to dig into it, but I just want to bring your awareness to some of these energetic, they're almost like networks, some of these networks, because once we know about these situations, it really is, 60 to 80% of the solution is just knowing about it. Once we know it's there, then we can work with it in a more meaningful way, and if we get stuck, then we reach out for help. So see if this helps you start becoming aware of what is keeping you blocked and maybe start making little steps toward making change happen, embracing change, and see if you can get unstuck. See if you can start forward movement. We want forward movement. We don't want to springboard because if we can have it happen, that's wonderful, but it doesn't always happen that way. What we want is to know what steps to take, to feel that those are the right steps for us, and to be able to start creating forward movement. That's really the deep ticket to healing, because we can leverage that process in all areas of our life, whether it's relationship, health, career, stress, children, parenting, education, whatever it is, we can always apply that same process. All right, folks, well, have a great week. Please comment in if you have, feel free to start a thread and post, or reach out in private message or email, whatever works for you, but feel free to reach out and connect with any questions or discussion, and I would love to hear. You can comment below on the post. I would love to hear what resonated with you here and what you feel you need more assistance with. All right, thanks for joining me, and we will connect soon.